Jeff, it's almost like Shreveport said to Bossier, here, hold my beer. We're watching now. Bossier is in a political turmoil. What's going on?
There's a power struggle clearly going on here. New mayor Tommy Chandler just took office. He's not from the in crowd from the city that has still a few members of that clique left on the city council after the defeat of Mayor Lowell Walker, and they're just not happy with him being mayor.
So explain to us in about 30 to 45 seconds, and if I misuse the term, correct me, did the deep state rear up and bite the new mayor yesterday, and what exactly did they do?
I prefer the term the empire, but that's kind of what happened. The Mayor Chandler wanted to appoint Shane Cheatham to be city CAO. He didn't even get a hearing. Didn't even look at his qualifications. Got one of the new members of the council, Chris Smith. He nominated him. Didn't even get a second. Then they rejected even hearing, or they continued to, for a month from now, hearing for the city attorney and the city assistant attorney, which, as it turns out, they didn't have the authority to appoint. So it was just very, very amateurish.
So in the middle of all this is the reseating, if you will, of a Bossier City councilman who lost in a virtual landslide just not that long ago. Explain that one to us. Yeah,
Scott Irwin was defeated by Shane Cheatham. Cheatham decided not to take a seat because he wanted to be named CAO. That's what Chandler wanted. And so an opening vacancy was there, and the council just went ahead and reappointed Irwin, even though, again, he did lose in a landslide, and there were people at the meeting that spoke to that very point, that he'd been rejected by the voters, and yet here he is back for another 3 months.
Should Cheatham have taken that council seat and then waited to see if he was going to win the CAO job? Would that have been a better political option now looking back at it?
Yeah, I think so, and particularly because Chandler's going to need all the votes he can get on the council. Right now, looking at just kind of how the way things broke down yesterday, it would appear that there's a veto-proof majority. So, in other words, they can pretty much pass whatever they want and override any vetoes that Chandler would cast. And while that may only last for 3 months, it's enough time to ram a budget through, and so it probably would have been the smarter thing to do, sure.
What now, Jeff? What happens now with getting a CAO, getting a city attorney? What is your advice to Mr. Chandler?
There are a lot of little things you can do in that office that can put pressure on members of the city council, and he might want to start checking some of those out, throwing his weight around a little bit, and
like what? Like what?
It really kind of difficult to go into right now, but one of the things a mayor, more than you'll see a state government or the federal government in particular, controls the flow of information that council can get. Really, all the expertise is located in the executive branch of a city, and so they're very dependent upon that at city council, and that's the kind, having that kind of information, and the council not having it gives the mayor potentially quite a bit of leverage.
A multi-tiered question here for you, Mr. Jeff. Did Tommy Chandler see that coming yesterday? If he didn't, was it born of his inexperience, and should he have?
Well, I think in terms of appointing Cheatham, that probably was a mistake of inexperience. But the rest of it, wasn't that wasn't that mysterious. Again, you get this power struggle. You've got at least one member of the council who thinks that he should have been mayor 4 years from now, and Chandler's in the way of that now, and so he's going to be him and his allies are going to be obstructionists, and that's something that I think people that know something about Bossier City government, that's something that anybody could see coming.
Bossier now reports the city, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because Bossier now reports the city might have a new mayor, but, quote, apparently Councilmember David Montgomery Jr. is still running the city. That's who you're referring to. That's who wants to be mayor, right?
Yes, and he still thinks he's council president too. The way he was behaving at yesterday's meeting. So why not both?
You said a couple of seconds ago, you implied that there's things that Mr. Tommy, there's things the new mayor can do to sort of smooth things over, to grease the skids, to make things work a little bit better for him. Can he really? If the honeymoon with whoever there is in Bossier City, in this case the council, lasted less than 72 hours, and if, to use the term again, deep state seems so set on not giving him what they want, what reason is there to think that over the next 6 months or year or 4 years of his mayorship that things are going to get any better?
Well, a mayor, he's a full-time official. He has the entire apparatus of the city executive branch, I guess with the exception of Public Works, at his disposal. And that's compared to a council made up of part-timers, that's quite a bit of weight to throw around. So, the thing that will hold him back now is, of course, his inexperience. But over time, he's going to learn more and more about the ways he can exert pressure, and if he's got any talent for the job at all, he ought to be able to start again throwing his weight around and getting outcomes more to his liking. You
said the council really had no authority with regard to appointing the CAO. Is there such a thing as a mayoral executive order where he can say, I've issued an executive order, here's my CAO, deal with it?
Well, no, what I said was the assistant city attorney. But
okay.
But in terms of like temporary appointments, yes, he can do something like that. I'm not entirely sure how that what the charter would have to say about the length and duration or whatever about that. But certainly he can appoint key personnel in the city, even if they're not having that official title, such as CAO, and they can certainly help them out.